it comes to sidekicks, there always seems to be more than one that takes up the same mantle. But you only really see people talk about the mantle of Robin, unlike the mantle of, say, like, Kid Flash. There has been multiple Kid Flashes. Now, the one that people talk about the most is obviously Wally West, but the two others that people talk about the most would be Bart Allen and Wallace West. Now, I'm going to go through kind of their history and how they became Kid Flash in this video. Wally was originally just a huge fan of the Flash before he became Kid Flash, and he was actually the nephew of Iris, Barry's love interest. So one day he went into Central City to visit his aunt, and then he met Barry and in his lab where Wally was hit by lightning and dosed in chemicals in the exact same way Barry was. Now at the time, Wally didn't know Barry was the Flash, wasn't his personal hero, but then he learned that Barry was the Flash when Barry had asked Wally if he would become a sidekick so he could train him how to use his powers in the same way the Flash does. And Wally happily accepted to do this, as he saw it as a way to get close to his personal hero, and they ended up having an amazing bond. And Wally is still Barry's number one fan, and he'll defend him from like anything. Bart is well known as Barry's grandson, but his mother was also a descendant of Professor Zoom. Now, Bart was born with Barry's Super Steve, so he had a fester about everything, metabolism, things like that, but also aging. Even when he was 2 years old, he appeared like a 12-year-old and acted like one too in his mind. So later on in his life, his grandfather, President Thawne at the time, killed his twin sister Dawn Allen and kidnapped Bart to experiment on him, where he was mostly raised in a virtual reality environment. Now, he was gonna die of old age very quickly because of how his, powers work, and the government who kidnapped him wasn't going to do anything about it, so his grandmother, Iris rescued Barry and sent him back to the 21st century to learn how to control his powers from Wally West, who was the Flash at the time, and that's how he became Impulse, and then later on joined the Young Justice group. After the Young Justice team had broken up, Bart had joined the Teen Titans, where he fought Deathstroke and messed up his knee very badly and had to get surgery for it, and while recovering, Bart read a lot of stories about Kid Flash and decided to reinvent himself as Kid Flash. Wallace R. West, or as his nickname is called, Ace. Now, he's the younger cousin of Wally West. He's not very close, or he wasn't very close to the West family, as his mother hated them. But when he was allowed to go see them, he would always end up bragging about how he was better than everyone. So one day, the West family had him do everything to prove that he was better, and he failed miserably. He even burnt a salad. So that is when they gave him the nickname Ace. Ace was known as a troublemaker. He would skip class, get into trouble with the law, but once his mother had gone missing, his Aunt Iris took him in and eased out of his rebellious phase once he connected closer to her. And he ended up admiring the central hero, Flash. Now, Ace later gained a connection to the Speed Force because his future self sent his powers back in time just before he died. Now, at first, Ace tried to keep his powers a secret from people and worked with the hero known as Fast Track. Now, she helped train him, help him understand his powers and how to utilize them, but she later got killed by Godspeed. Now, this devastated Ace, which sent him straight to Barry to try and help him capture Godspeed for what he did to his mentor. Now, after they did end up capturing him, he was taken in by Barry and became the new Kid Flash.